안녕하세요. 매일매일 운동하기를 실천하고 있는 동탄 왕코입니다. 컨디션 좋아 보이죠? 야간 2일차 끝나고 영어 학원까지 갔다 왔습니다. 샤워를 했어요. 너무 피곤해가지고 샤워를 했습니다. 어쨌든 컨디션은 살짝 좋아서 오늘 최대한 운동을 많이 해보려고 합니다. 한 일주일은 운동을 제대로 안 했죠. 술 먹고, 진짜 술을 먹되 진짜 조금만 먹어야겠습니다. 뱃살도 빨리 빼야 되는데 큰일 났어요. 지금 살 접히는 거 보세요. 난리 났습니다. 일단 운동하겠습니다. 최대한 스트레칭 많이 하고 팔굽혀펴기랑 레그레이즈 위주로 해서 건강한 생활을 하도록 하겠습니다. 역시 운동할 때 CNN이죠.
Buy the products, we will not be able to fund this operation.
His online store sells everything from freeze dryers to survival gear.
We have the full My Patriot supply. This stuff kills the whole SARS corona family at point blank range.
Most recently, the FDA ordered Jones to stop selling fake cures for COVID-19.
It kills every virus.
There's money to be made in this.
I only promote what I believe in.
It is this conspiracy-riddled path that connected Donald Trump to Alex Jones.
My audience, I'd say 90% supports you.
Trump knows where his bread is buttered, and he makes his peace with someone like Alex Jones to keep power and to win in the next election.
Come here and hear President Trump speak.
Both men understood how to reach an audience and how to propel themselves into the mainstream.
I doubt I'd be here if it weren't for social media. I'm able to go bing, 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 and I take care of it. The other way, I'd never be able to get the information.
Like Trump, Jones used all kinds of media to push his agenda for years.
You machine gunned a bunch of men, women, and children.
He migrated from public access TV
You idiot, it's real.
to terrestrial radio to the internet.
I've listened to you for 30 years.
That unrestrained freedom combined with these algorithms that are designed to amplify whatever is most eye-catching and most shocking meant that he was just perfectly adapted to the internet.
But that all came to a crashing halt in 2018.
Apple, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Pinterest, and LinkedIn have all removed material from Jones.
The deplatforming of Jones,
Google is evil. Google is evil.
especially by YouTube, it diminished him.
I don't get a day in court. They lie about me.
His viewership fell by about half.
The president himself has also been policed for promoting violence and spreading false claims. Twitter has flagged several of his tweets over accuracy and copyright issues. While we may never know whether Jones or Trump truly believe in the crazy conspiracies they spread,
This is the first time in our history that a conspiracist holds the highest office in the land.
presidential historian Tim Naftali says, what happens next is up to us.
Will the American public embrace it a second time? The test is in November.
There are a lot of people here who understand Japanese culture so much to surprise even the Japanese.
In my daily work, I found inspiration from the wisdom of the Japanese martial art of Judo.
지금
Judo teaches
지금 광고에서 어떤
to
아저씨가
obtain the
일본식
archer
활 쏘는데 여기
with
인지
a clear
까고
mind and
개
determination.
더러웠어.
The same is true in business.
이게 저게
I teach the way of tea in Kyoto. People can take a deeper look at themselves while reflecting on the four ideals of harmony,
극혐.
respect, purity, and tranquility. The Urisenkei tradition has over 100 locations around the world where many people of different nationalities study it.
Japanese culture resonates globally. Find your Japan.
열받습니다. 일본 놈들.
this weekend on CNN.
Have you been bitten by the bug of curiosity? This is CNN 10. My name is Carl Azus. I'll be your explainer-in-chief.
Global news.
International relations are the key factors.
Relevant stories.
Everyday people whose action is changing their community.
Complex issues explained.
We're going back to the future.
And 10-second trivia.
You get a perfect 10 out of 10.
All in 10 minutes. Stream at CNN.com/CNN10.
Coronavirus is affecting an entire country, the world. Are we ready? In the beginning of outbreaks like this, nobody knows what's happening. We're determined to keep reporting the story.
That's that word, because that seems to be because we're ready for it.
These are the moments where our humanity really does shine through. That's the hardest part.
It's heart-wrenching.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN.
어우 신나.
I'm Ivan Watson in Hong Kong, and this is CNN.
We caught him.
This is actually treason.
They were spying on our campaign. It was treason.
Long before Donald Trump became conspiracist in chief, there was Joseph McCarthy.
Oh.
Even if there are only one communist in the State Department, that would still be one communist too many.
In the early 1950s, the Republican senator accused all kinds of Americans of treason, largely without any evidence. It was what Joe McCarthy called a vast communist conspiracy.
This committee's activities may well determine whether this nation will live or die.
What he did was to drum up this incredible fear.
If they're trying to America,
But they could not find, as he said, a conspiracy so immense. They could not find it because it wasn't there.
At the height of the Cold War, many Americans had legitimate fears about communism.
In 1949, you had the Soviet Union explode a nuclear device.
Then, communists overthrew the Chinese government.
Overnight, now you have 500 million new communists in the world. It felt like America was losing. How could America be losing?
Entered Joseph McCarthy, who claimed he had the answer. A list of 205 employees in the State Department whom he said were known communists.
That simple answer just was like, boom.
He didn't have the goods to prove this monster conspiracy.
McCarthy presided over hearings that were little more than trial by accusation.
Senator, would you like to hear this? It's about you.
아이고야.
Badger witnesses where they wouldn't have a chance to answer. He wasn't about nuance, he was about gotcha.
Answer that yes or no. Do you know this man?
McCarthy made baseless charges against the Truman administration, including a man who served as the Secretary of State and Defense.
George C. Marshall, a man who helped defeat the Nazis.
A venerated five-star general who had helped orchestrate the Allied victory in World War II. Republicans didn't like McCarthy's tactics, but most didn't speak out because they were afraid of losing their base. Sound familiar? By 1952, Republicans had been out of power for 2 decades.
The American people have spoken with a resounding voice at the polls. Victory is here.
McCarthy helped win back the White House and both houses of Congress. With a bigger platform, he became even more reckless. He went after the army, claiming it had been infiltrated by communists.
You're not fooling anyone at all. Sure, let me tell you something. Sure believes that the American people have had a look at you for 6 weeks. You're not fooling anyone either.
The senator was called out as a bully in front of 20 million viewers.
You've done enough. Have you no sense of decency, sir? At long last, have you left no sense of decency?
Finally, Congress said, enough.
The Republican Senate censured one of their own.
The conspiratorial worldview and political tactics, however, would live on.
This fight to expose those who would destroy this nation will go on and on.
Nearly 1 decade later,
from Dallas, Texas, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
A tragic event became the catalyst for a new wave of conspiracies.
To this day, people think, how does a lone gunman successfully assassinate the most protected person on the face of the earth?
There was plenty of evidence linking Lee Harvey Oswald to the shooting, but America didn't buy the official story.
The idea that one person alone, without a government or a conspiracy behind them, could change the course of history just seemed impossible to believe, implausible.
I emphatically deny these charges. I'm just a patsy.
Then only 2 days later, he was fatally shot on live television by nightclub owner Jack Ruby.
Many Americans, when Jack Ruby killed Oswald, began to believe something was amiss.
The week that President Kennedy was killed, a Gallup poll showed that the majority of Americans believed it was a conspiracy. The Kennedy assassination immediately became a national obsession. By the mid-70s, the percentage of Americans who believed it was a conspiracy skyrocketed to over 80%. Americans had seen the release of the Pentagon Papers, the escalation in Vietnam, Watergate.
A series of misfortunes for this country. And you begin to wonder, did it all start with the JFK assassination?
Told the CIA to use this poison.
Senate investigations into secret government programs opened the door to even more conspiracy theories.
The more Americans mistrusted government, the more they believed that John F. Kennedy had been assassinated by a secret group of officials who did not like his policies.
Soon an entire cottage industry was created around the JFK assassination. Books, board games, video games, and of course, a Hollywood blockbuster.
One of the grossest lies ever forced on the American people. We've come to know it as the magic bullet theory.
Great cinematography, terrible history.
But it was the internet age of the 90s and 2000s that helped rocket a conspiracy theorist right to the presidency.
너무 힘들어. 얼마나 했지?
The world is
16분?
transforming. You know, people call it the digital transformation. We just call it, the global transformation in the world we did it. In the sense that people are moving from offline to online. I look at my kids; they use TikTok in a way that
레그레이즈 한 번만 더 하고
myself. So I think new
그만하도록
generations
하겠습니다.
are used to live online and kind of transact online.
더워.
So we are firm believers that the world is only going into one direction, and that's more online sales.
To open doors, to develop contacts, and to unlock secrets, it takes trust.
It was the first time he really came out of his shell in front of the camera.
Trust that you'll listen.
So great that you're here today. Just highlights.
레그레이즈 못하겠어.
That you'll be honest. Try, but what sort of conversations do you have with them?
푸시업으로 대신하겠습니다. 한국형 경기를
It
하겠대요.
was an unprecedented move, very eerie. All the roads have been closed off. Describe the scene that you arrived to. The Apache attack helicopter. This is what Captain Wales has been flying. What do you do with Crimea?
This is Europe's problem.
Do you want talks with them?
What is the point of talking now?
여기까지만 하겠습니다.
A government in crisis.
아우.
This was the Duchess's first news interview.
Rare